Hey guys, it's Mo here from Mo in the Deep End, and we are going to get right in today with I know I'm not on camera. I just figured I would try to do this while I'm waiting for my hair to dry, so that I can get several of the videos done that I was planning on getting done yesterday. But hey, you never leave a friend drunk on his own stream he might nuke, alone. It's just not how the internet is done. All right. Today, I wanted to get back into the Delphi case, and I apologize for it having taken me so long to get kind of all of the document dump put into a timeline. I should have a timeline out in the next couple days. I'm gonna learn how to use all the graphical stuff. It'll be awesome. And then you can kind of see what has happened in the court case, at least, since, kind of the probable cause affidavit was put out when Richard Allen was arrested and things like that. So today, what I thought we would go over was the search warrant, the inventory that was taken from Richard Allen's house, and then this his defense actually asking to squash anything and everything found during that search because of some improper constitutional things that I will definitely have to ask Dave about, and then the state's response. Now, I haven't gone over all of these deeply because I kind of wanted to go over them with you guys and give you kind of my first initial thoughts based on kind of how I felt this entire case, which is, again, just juxtaposed from the, you know, Rex Heuermann, just bail application and the amount of information, the amount of solid facts, um, circumstantial, very concrete, implications that his phones were in fact the ones used in the case to connect to different people. It there really, I mean, there is not that in this particular case. Now, I will not be reading addresses out, even though obviously y'all can read or phone numbers. I just look, this we are to presume that this man is innocent, and, regardless of whether he chooses or is found guilty or innocent, his family doesn't need to be hounded to the ends of the earth. Um, they are part of those ripple victims that, people don't always think about, but their lives have been turned upside down, and even if he is the guiltiest of guiltiest sons ever guilted, he is his family doesn't deserve that. So let's go into the search warrant, and this was issued October 13th, 2022. So you are hereby authorized and ordered in the name of the state of Indiana with necessary and proper assistance to enter into or upon the property, including the residence, outbuildings, including a wooden shed on the property, and a 2016 black Ford Focus SE vehicle located in Delphi, Indiana, Carroll County. Said property being the residence of Richard M. Allen. The residence is located on the property, is described as a ranch-style house that is brick with a two-car garage, as further depicted in the attached photograph. The property also contains a wooden shed. There is also a 2016 black Ford Focus SE located on the property. Law enforcement is ordered to diligently search for any and all information and/or evidence of a crime in the murder in violation of IC 35-42-1-1, specifically to search for handguns, 40 caliber ammunition, knives, blue sweatshirts or jackets, black sweatshirts or jackets, clothing, electronic devices, and a cell phone with the number blank, and any other cell phones and any other electronic devices located in or on the locations described above. Law enforcement is authorized to search these areas to determine whether or not there has been a violation committed as described in the affidavit at the residence, in the yard, the vehicles, and any appurtenances. Listen, that's going to be another Duke Nukem. I will. I am going to be perfectly honest with you guys. Today, I don't know what. happened, but my leg has decided to be on full out F you life mode, which is upsetting for a Friday. I'm recording this on the 21st, so I'm like, "Daggone it, Friday? Seriously?" Um, so if I make little kind of word mistakes, if I do that kinda thing, I will try that's why I'm trying to do a bunch of these videos during the morning when I feel a little better, um, but having a chronic pain condition, and I don't wanna make this about this, but it can make you a little fuzzy sometimes. So, in the comments, if I'm a little off today, be kind. I am working on it, but I did wanna get you guys some things out because, um, I wanna get them off my to-do list, to be honest with you. I'm a whole lot type A, and I keep looking at my little notepaddy that says, "Ma'am, you have videos upon videos to be doing." Alright, so the affidavit for the search warrant, a lot of it is the probable cause affidavit. Uh, so I will, kind of go forward on that. It definitely seems to be kind of a just a retelling of that. So Carroll or affidavit for search warrant, Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Tony Leggett swears or affirms that he believes and has good cause to believe that the evidence relating to the crime of murder in violations of IC 35-42-1-1 is located at the residence of Richard Allen, and I'm not gonna use his birth date or give you his address, even though you can read it. Detective Leggett believes that invested or evidence in the form of handguns, 40 caliber ammunition, knives, blue sweatshirts or jackets, and black sweatshirts or jackets, clothing, electronic devices, and cell phone numbers with a particular number, and any other cell phones, will be located on the property. So they basically cut and paste, parts of the probable cause affidavit, which honestly, I didn't think you could do that, but also my type A-ness, y'all, the person that scanned this improperly, sentenced to contempt of court. I cannot with this off-centeredness. I know, tangenty. So if you have seen my video with the probable cause affidavit, you will, definitely be able to kind of you can get all of the information that I'm skipping through. There is about 30 pages between the motions and then this and the inventory, so I will not be reading that to you guys again. If you would like to look at the probable cause affidavit, I do have a video, and I believe I have several live streams where I go over it, just in comparison to the Letitia Stalk, you know, probable cause affidavit. You have just another contemporaneous case that you can kind of see what they have and then don't have in this particular case, at least in my opinion. Detective Leggett has been a member of the law enforcement for 21 years. Now, if you remember, Detective Leggett is also or Leggett or Leggett, I don't know, is also named in the, uh, civil rights or the, case filed against Carroll County sheriffs for discrimination because of some political shenanigans that were happening, during the election time and demotion of someone for possibly having different ideas on this case. And while the Delphi case is not mentioned by name in that particular, lawsuit, it is heavily implied. I mean, it's talking about a fairly prolific, or not prolific, but high profile, child murder case, and it's Carroll County, there's only one that could be, so, this is that this is a person that is named in that. In his role as a deputy and detective, he's investigated numerous crimes, including murder. He has also been trained in how to investigate offenses such as murder. He has also participated in training specially geared toward murder investigations. In many of those cases, evidence of the crime is on cell phones. That evidence includes location evidence in relation to the offense, pictures or videos taken during or after the offense, and evidence in furtherance of the crime or in an effort to hide their participation in a crime. Detective Leggett has had an opportunity to review the evidence collected in this investigation. The detective knows from his training and experience that when individuals commit offenses, the evidence of those offenses informs in the form or picture or location, I think they mean of pictures or location data, is captured on an individual's cell phone. Detective Leggett also knows that individuals tend to download their phones to other electronic devices or use their cell phones in conjunction with other electronic devices, including iPads and computers. Detective believes that information gathered from witnesses, video evidence, and admissions by Richard M. Allen are reliable. Richard M. Allen places himself at the trails and specifically on Monon High Bridge. He further admits that he was wearing jeans and a dark Carhartt jacket. These clothes match the clothes by the individual on the bridge in the photo taken from the video from Liberty German's cell phone. Detective Leggett was also able to corroborate the information that Richard M. Allen was at the trail near the time that Liberty German and Abigail Williams. Okay, whoever didn't proofread this really needs were they having a fuzzy day too? Because God help us, we all have some fuzzy days. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't judge too harshly because 'cause I'm having a fuzzy day myself, so but when you're trying to read for the internet and sentences don't make sense, it's kind of hard. The picture of the individual on the bridge was captured by investigators from the video taken on Liberty German's phone just prior to her and Abigail Williams being abducted. The individual in that picture matches the description of Richard M. Allen. Detective Leggett believes Richard M. Allen is the individual on the bridge. From Richard M. Allen's statements, investigators believe that Richard M. Allen's was also on his phone when he was on the trail prior to meeting the girls. So here is an issue with that. I mean, it is 7 years later. Unless he had, he kept downloading his same cell phone, I just I I want this to be the person simply so the family can have a new kind of grief, a grief that is painted with justice at least, because it's not gonna be closure. It's not closure, but it can be stained. It can be, given an overwash of, justice. So you get that little bit of peace. It's never gonna be a full peace. You're never gonna or at least in my experience, you're never gonna make full peace with it just regardless. It's not gonna happen. M but the grief comes out in different shades after a while, and hopefully these it's an easier shade to have to live with, an easier hue that they can live with and just have that. But what I see here and what I fear is that they're pulling a Michael Turney. They have the desire for justice, they have the gut-burning need for answers, and, but they don't have the concrete evidence, and I hope I am wrong. Like I said, I've organized these papers and I have put them into a kind of timeline chronological order, but I have not deep dived into these papers. So maybe I am still missing some of the things. I am trying to make things make sense to me and make sense to you guys by kind of giving you snippets that um, go together in theme and sort of response and counter response by the both parties so that by the time the trial rolls around, we have a little bit more of a clear idea of what we're working with as far as what's being given to the public. So this was given on the 13th of October, 2022 as well. Now, these are the property receipts, and it's going to go through what we found. So I'm going to read that to you. And There was a Sea Sour or no, I'm sorry, a Sig Sauer P226 40 caliber handgun, and I'm not going to read the serial number because, again, I look, the family and I don't know what you can do magically on the internet, but y'all can read it. I mean, if I don't think anyone in my particular chat or anything would go out and do internet shenanigans, but, um, a sealed plastic bag containing one 40 caliber Smith& and Wesson cartridge found in a wooden keepsake box on the dresser between both closets in the master bedroom. A sealed plastic bag with one 40 caliber Smith& and Wesson cartridge found inside the Sig Sauer P20 or 226 handgun. A sealed plastic bag containing 2 magazines, one filled with 9 40 caliber cartridges and one filled with 8 40 caliber cartridges. Sealed plastic or paper bag containing one black Sig Sauer handgun case containing one trigger lock with 2 keys. A sealed paper bag containing paper-wrapped wooden weave box containing 2 AudioVox device, 1 silver Motorola flip phone wow, flip phone, and 1 silver Motorola flip phone, another one, 4 car chargers, 3 wall outlet chargers, sealed plastic bag containing 1 Lexar Complex, flash drive or memory card, so 1 gigabyte, sealed paper bag containing a pair of dirty Thurgood built or boots, size 7.5 men's. Sealed paper bag containing 1 pair of dirty black boots, size 6.5 regular. Wow, he has tiny feet. I mean, I'm a 7.5 in women's, but good night nurse. I think that's a no, that's just them are small feet, I guess. Sealed envelope containing 1 silver double-edged knife in a silver metal sheath. Sealed envelope containing 1 brown, gold, and silver folding knife. Sealed envelope containing a black sheath containing 1 brown, gold, and silver folding knife. Sealed envelope containing 1 black sheath containing 1 black-handled silver blade imperial knife. So he seems to like knives, you guys. I'm cottoning on at this point. Um, Sealed envelope, 1 black sheath containing foldable knife with red gold handle. But also, if you're in rural Indiana, heck, even here, I mean, I am possibly the odd one of the litter here, not having, a folding pocket style knife in my purse, because usually I have a pair of scissors because I cross stitch and I sew and I used to quilt in another time period, but you know, a lot of people I know, men and women including, think I'm an odd duck for not having them. Also, still, people, skin straight. Sealed envelope with 1 sheath containing 2 Ozark trail knives. Sealed envelope, 1 black sheath containing 1 knife with wood ivory handle and gold guard. Sealed envelope containing 1 rusted old-timer folding knife, 1 sharp two-bladed folding knife, 1 black folding Gerber knife, and 1 black folding knife. Sealed envelope containing 1 red hand red-handled Crossley multi-tool, 1 blue multi-tool, 1 green and gold Indiana National Guard multi-tool, and 1 black multi-tool. Sealed envelope containing 1 sheath containing a brown-handled silver bladed saber Bowie knife. Sealed paper bag containing 1 blue jacket with red stripes, an Adidas jacket. Sealed paper bag containing 1 blue quarter zip sweatshirt. I am going to learn how to read today, I promise. Sealed paper bag containing 1 black and green fox hooded sweatshirt. Well, and now we know he's guilty, right? I'm just joking, y'all. It's a joke. Sealed paper bag containing 1 black and gray North End coat. Sealed paper bag containing 1 blue Carhartt coat. Sealed paper bag containing 1 pair of Timberland boots, size 8. Sealed paper bag containing 1 pair of blue Arizona jeans, size 34-29. Okay, so he's got 2 more sets of Arizona jeans. He's got 2 sets of Levi Strauss jeans that they collected. Sealed paper bag containing 1 winter gray hat with fur-like fibers. Um, 1 black and red UFC hooded sweatshirt with a full zip. 1 quarter zip George sweatshirt. 1 black and blue quarter zip Walmart sweatshirt. 1 blue George sweatshirt, quarter zip. 1 blue Kenneth Cole sweatshirt. 1 blue Fruit of the Loom sweatshirt. 1 blue starter sweatshirt. 1 black spider hooded sweatshirt. 1 blue sweatshirt with an old label. 1 blue Adidas sweatshirt. 1 brown fitted cap with a small bill. 1 black WRI stocking cap, 1 black NASCAR Ford Racing stocking cap, 1 black Adidas stocking cap, 1 red, white, and 1 gray, brown Canada stocking cap, uh, 1 gray and black Adidas skull cap. I guess what's the difference between a stocking cap and I mean, I guess I call everything kind of like a beanie. I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comments that will explain to me the very detailed intricacies of hat names, and I will appreciate it because I don't know. And 1 brown Carhartt stocking cap, 1 gray and white NFL Colts I'm sorry, skull cap, and then the Carhartt is the stocking cap. 10 pairs of gloves and 1 extra glove. Now, they didn't specify gloves, so I don't know if these are working gloves, like outdoor gloves, winter gloves. I wish they'd been so kind of thorough on everything else. Kind of wish they were a little thorough there. 1 blue fabric strap and 1 blue-green fabric strap. I'm not quite sure. An HP laptop, HP Pavilion laptop, multiple headbands, um, 1 bag containing a cardboard phone box containing miscellaneous cell phone information, a Winchester Supreme Elite empty ammo box, um, a 1 Cruise Micro 2 gigabyte flash drive with Rick on the back. So, in a it looks like IT or 1 terabyte, I don't know. There's it's a Western Digital hard drive. So, I don't know if, he had, like, an independent hard drive. You guys know I don't know the internets. 1 Samsung phone in a floral case, a miniature katana with a red tassel, 1 black sheath and 1, raffia fillet knife from the garage, 1 black sheath and 1 best defense knife from the garage, 1 black external hard drive and cord, 1 black iPod, a 32 millibyte or is it millibyte? Millibit? Megabyte. Good lord, y'all. I thank you for sticking with me. It's been a day already. And 2, 156 megabyte, SD card. Then you have a large wooden handled knife and a rusted blade from the garage. Uh, a bag containing 5 miscellaneous vehicle chargers. I don't know what the charger's going to tell you. I mean, unless he can get like, he took the charger with him on the day. 1 bag containing miscellaneous phone accessories, a laptop charger, a bag containing 2 pagers, 1 black, 1 blue. Oh my gosh, he still has pagers? Sir, if you was guilty and you did not throw one of these doggone things away, and you end up being, all the guilty, I am going to thank the Lord that you decided to never throw anything away and be a pack rat. Um, 3 Motorola and 1 LG flip phone, an LG Verizon smartphone, LG Verizon side slide smartphone, another man, they have all the phones. I guess I got out of the habit of keeping them because Walmart has that thingy mabobber where you just well, and honestly, usually if we're gonna get a new phone, one of the kids inherits our old phone. So, my 8-year-old Gunner is super excited because he is on the next, kind of in the rotation to when he gets to be 10, by the time I'll probably need a new cell phone, he gets to get the new cell phone. He's very excited. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, 1 envelope containing 3 older cell phones, 1 Audiovox, 1 Nokia, and 1 Motorola. I don't think I ever remembered Audiovax or Audiovox. A Nokia 7705 Twist cell phone, a Garmin box containing a Garmin Street Pilot. Oh my gosh, do you remember when you used to have to buy the thingy, the Garmin thing, and put it on? And then we thought we were just the coolest when you started getting, like, the front heads-up displays and you could put it in the little screen in the car. Okay, a sealed cardboard box containing plastic bag with, custom vehicle operations motorcycle cover bag and a motorcycle cover, uh, a Pixel 3a XL cell phone, a black Samsung Galaxy, uh, 1 Aquafina water bottle, an LG Singular wireless flip phone. Good lord, all the phones in this house. I mean, I don't understand keeping a beeper. I don't get that. I mean, let's see. Sealed envelope containing a cutting of a carpeted area underneath the spare tire of the Ford Focus. Sealed envelope containing 2 plastic wrappers containing 1 swab from a driver's lap belt and 1 swab from the shoulder belt on the Ford Focus. And then 2 plastic wrappers containing 2 swabs from the passenger side and the carpeted floorboards. So that's all that they got, at least all that they have released from the property search from his house. Now, the defense is claiming in its motion certain things. So let's see what they're doing. Now, this is in order and it was filed. It's like they don't even okay, it was filed May the 19th, 2023. So we will go ahead and okay, so this is the hearing that happened on June 15th. So I have not got there yet with kind of my deep dive. There are just so many shenanigans that have already gone through with this case between motion, counter motion, or as I like to say, heck nah and hell nah, kind of back and forth. So the order is now comes the accused by counsel having filed motion to suppress fruits of search of his address, and the court being duly advised in the premises now finds that a hearing on said motion should take place on June 15th. So basically, all that's saying is this is what his defense, Richard Allen's defense, has objections to this. So let's see what their objections are. Motion to suppress fruits of search of his particular address. Now comes the accused by counsel and through counsel and pursuant to the 4th and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 11 of the Constitution of the United States of India, or the The state of Indiana moves to suppress all evidence obtained by the defective search warrant that was issued without probable cause. In support of said motion, the accused states 1. The affidavit submitted in support of the search warrant failed to establish that the items to be seized were in the residence or that could be expected to be in the resident at the time of the search. 2. The affidavit submitted in support of the search warrant failed to provide particular information that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the accused homes, but rather provided generic information concerning generic items that would be in the accused home or any other home potentially in Indiana. I mean, it does have a point. I mean, it kinda says, we're looking for a 40 caliber gun and knives, and let me just tell you, in rural Indiana, that might be in every single house. I mean, you could have a potential, suspect in every house. 3, the affidavit submitted in support of the search warrant failed to connect the generic items for which it was seeking to actual items that were possibly used in the crime for which he is now charged. 4. The search warrant was unreasonable under both Indiana and federal constitution. Wherefore, accused respectfully prays the court to schedule this motion for a hearing on June 15th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. and therefore grant suppression. Now we are going to go to what I like to call the hell no response from the state. Because as you can imagine, they were not so happy that the defense said that they were acting, outside of their particular bounds and all right. So this is the state's response. And like I said, I will get to the May night or May 15th. Oh gosh, hearing, and then we will go through all of this, and it says, "State's objection to the defendant's motion to suppress," and this was filed June 13th, so, just 2 days before. They were very timely. "Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas C. McClelland, and respectfully objects to the defendant's motion to suppress and would ask the court to deny the same and in support of state's motion or of said motion states the following: that on May 19th, 2023, the defendant filed a motion to suppress the evidence seized as a result of a search warrant executed on his home on October 13th, 2022. 2, the defense alleges that the search warrant was unreasonable under the Indiana and federal constitution in that it lacked probable cause and it failed to establish the items to be seized were in the residence and could be expected to be in the residence, that the affidavit failed to provide particular information that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the home, and the affidavit failed to connect the generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. That in September 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, the investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017. Okay, why did it take until 2022? I want to know. If you have the Indiana police, if Indiana State Police, if you have the Carroll County that's supposed to be busting their balls on this, how the hell do you miss this? How do you miss it? I'm big hot mad for these families because, say Richard is the guy. Say he is the guy and, they have known about him since 2017, and you had to wait till 2023 to get any sort of anything about it. I'm sorry, that's just it it really gets my goat. Investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2020 or 2017 by Indiana Conservation Officer Dan Doolin. That in the 2017 interview, Richard Allen admitted to being on the trail that day Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing. 5, that he stated he was on the trail between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. and that and while he was on the trail, he was using his phone. 6. Then on October 13th, 2022, investigators invited Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy, to speak to them, following up with the interview done on 2017. 7. That both Richard Allen and Kathy Allen came to the interview on their own October 13th, 2022, and were not under arrest and were free to leave the interview at any time. 8. That investigators learned from those interviews that Richard Allen reaffirmed that he was on the trails that day, that Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing, and further admitted to being on the High Bridge. I Okay, 9. That he told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood and that he was wearing a head covering. Not or 10. That further, Richard said that he did own guns and that guns were in his home. 11. That investigators learned from Kathy that Richard Allen still had guns and knives in the home along with a blue Carhartt jacket. Again, listen, these are things that are found in nearly every I mean, Mr. Mo doesn't have a Carhartt jacket, but that's about it that we don't have of these particular items in our house. Well, and beepers. We don't have any beepers that I'm aware of. 12. That investigators believe a firearm was involved in the abduction and murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German because an unspent 20 caliber round was found between the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. 13. That investigators believe a knife was used in the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. 14. That the clothes that Richard Allen described wearing that the day he was on the trails matched the description of a man seen on the bridge from the video taken by Liberty German's phone. 15. It was also gathered that Richard Allen still possessed firearms, knives, and the clothing, and said items were in his house. 16. Based on this information, investigators prepared a probable cause affidavit with a search warrant for the home of Richard Allen. 17. The probable cause affidavit covers all the information that law enforcement had gathered in the investigation up until October 13th, 2022. 18. That investigators applied for the search warrant on October 13th, 2022, and the same was granted that day by Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Benjamin Daner, herein attached as State's Exhibit 1. 19. Investigators went to the residence of the defendant located, knocked on the door, and executed a search warrant around 5 p.m., and the search was completed about 7:09 p.m. And that was on the October the 13th. 20. The defendant and his wife were asked to be out of the residence while the search warrant was executed, but were allowed back in the residence immediately afterwards. 21. Investigators found several items in the residence, including firearms and electronic devices, all of which is outlined in the search warrant returned attached herein as State's Exhibit 2. 22. That for a search warrant to be valid, it must be accompanied by an affidavit that establishes probable cause, which is a sufficient basis of facts that exist to permit a reasonably prudent person to believe that a search of the premises will uncover evidence of a crime. Esquerdo versus State, and I believe that is a Indiana case. Indiana Code Indiana Code 35-33-5-2 specifies the minimum information necessary to establish probable cause, which is as follows. A. Information particularly describing the house or place to be searched and the thing to be searched for. B. Information alleging substantially the offense in relation hitherto, and that the affiant believes has good cause to believe that the things sought are concealed in the place that they are attempting to search, or the person to be arrested committed the offense described. So wait, all they have to I mean, so the basic thing they have to do is believe that they did the thing described and that they might have, they can describe the house and the places to be searched. This is kinda scary. C, information setting forth the facts known to the affiant through personal knowledge or based on hearsay constituting probable cause. 24, that under the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, the evidence needed to obtain a search warrant need not rise to the statute of facts necessary to obtain a conviction. The circumstances alleged in the affidavit need only lead a person of reasonable caution to believe that a crime has been committed. I mean, you guys, we've went through the probable cause affidavit, and in my personal opinion, and as a talking disembodied head on the internet right now, I don't think the probable cause affidavit shows much. I believe I will probably have a stream with David, but at some point to kind of go over the lack there is in this probable cause affidavit. And again, this is what they knew about the investigation up until October 13th. So there could be just a metric butt ton of information we don't have that they have. I am not discounting that. But we see the again, just to take a contemporaneous, another high profile case, in the Long Island serial killer case, you have just the bail application form or suggestion form, and it is chock full of, like, facts and evidence and things like that. So, I do not know. Alright, and that's Chambers versus State, and it gives the, case law if you would like to look at that. 25, that when sufficiency of the search warrant is challenged under the Fourth Amendment by the defendant, as it is in the defendant's motion, the role of the reviewing court is simply to ensure that there was a substantial basis for finding probable cause, reminding itself that it owes great deference to the initial probable cause determination and will not invalidate a warrant by interpreting probable cause affidavits in hypertechnical rather than common sense manner. So Watkins versus State. 26. Under Article 1, Section 11 of the Indiana Constitution, the reasonableness of the search is determined by using the Litchfield test, which looks at the totality of the circumstances and requires consideration of both the degree of intrusion into subjects' ordinary activity and based upon which the officer selected in the subject of the search or seizure, Litchfield versus State. 27, that the inquiry requires a balancing of the degree of concern, suspicion, or knowledge that the violation occurred, the degree of the intrusion, the method of search or seizure imposed on the citizen's ordinary activities, and the extent of law enforcement needs. Litchfield versus State. 28, the state believes that the affidavit does meet the threshold to establish probable cause under the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, in that there was a substantial basis for finding probable cause, and there was a high likelihood based on the evidence that investigators had that there was evidence of the crime in the home of Richard Allen. 20 29, the state believes that the affidavit accompanied with the search warrant for the home of Richard Allen does establish probable cause under Article 1, Section 11 of the Indiana Constitution and does pass the Litchfield test for reasonableness under the totality of the circumstances. So I think I will be, for extra additional homework, be looking up the Litchfield test, but these are all things that I will probably be going over with one of our very awesome lawyer friends because, me reading you the legalese, uh, probably not as educational as me saying, "Hey, as a Mo on the internet, I read this legalese. Can you translate this into human?" Thank you so much in advance, David. We'll have all of the law talk. Alright, 30. The state believes that the affidavit establishes that the items to be seized were in the residence by the statements made by Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen. Y'all, this is why you get a dang lawyer. I don't care if you have to, you ask for a lawyer when you are talking to the cops, because say this man is innocent, as we're all supposed to assume. So he comes forward as a concerned citizen and he wants to tell the police because he knows he didn't do it that, "Hey, I was there that day, I saw nothing, but I would just like to be helpful." And being in, Delphi, Indiana in February, he's wearing the uniform of Indiana, which is a Carhartt jacket and, a beanie, because that's just how it is. That interview was enough to, it could possibly be enough to fry him. If you get a really emotional, I mean, if that's all they have, they've got one unspent bullet that may not be able to be the bullet may not be able to be excluded from the particular weapon that Richard Allen has, but it's not conclusive. I hope the defense is up for it. It seems like with the motions that they are doing, again, if he is all the guilties, I still hope the defense is up for it because, again, a vigorous, defense is what we should hope every defendant has. 31, the state believes that the affidavit provides particular information that particular items related to a particular crime will be found in the home based on statements made by Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen. 32, the state believes the affidavit connects generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime based on the investigators' evidence they gathered throughout the investigation. 33, that the evidence was gathered in 2017 was affirmed by the interview done with Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, on October 13th, 2022. 34. Investigators believed at the time they had enough probable cause to apply for a search warrant. Investigators also believed that if they did not execute a search warrant on the residence immediately, that there was a danger that the defendant would destroy critical evidence in the investigation. Investigators believed through their training and experience believed that there was a real chance that the defendant would destroy evidence once he knew he was a suspect in the crime. Wherefore, the state has shown the actions of the officers were valid and justified and did not violate the defendant's Fourth Amendment under the U.S. Constitution or Article 1, Section 11 of the Indiana Constitution. Therefore, the motion to suppress should be denied. Now, let me see if I can go through my timeline because I don't believe I have any resolution to this as far as the paperwork that I have. But let me check because, as I said, the document dump came out. So, just to kind of give you guys sort of insight of how the document dump came out, the search warrant is on, and that affidavit is on pages 109 to 120. Now, the defense order to suppress the search is on pages 33 to 35, and then the state's response is on pages 103 to 108. So I had to go through, and I like doing it because I like making order out of chaos, but it does not seem that I have any information as to how the judge ruled on that at the June hearing. We have some motions received, um, kind of a flurry of motions received right after that hearing, but they have not released the fruits of that actual hearing yet. So I will let you guys know. I mean, it seems like the way the state has worded it that you need very little other than like a good old hunch and, n- a way to generically state what you might could find. Um, Again, and this is my legalese. sort of interpretation of it. So I could be very wrong. Let's be honest. But that is what I have for you guys today. So my guess is that the motion to squash was denied. I will be coming out with a new video about this. That my next Delphi video will probably be the back and forth and giant sort of slap fest between the defense and state about whether the state will be able to have access to the mental health records that have been, I guess, obtained in jail. So, like, the mental health any mental health services that he's been receiving while he was in the jail, they want access to those particular things, and the defense is obviously fighting very hard to not get those entered. And then another video I will be doing is, the state and the prison system seems to be doing some fairly shenanigan-y things, like trying to film, uh, the defense lawyers and their clients while they were trying to have an interview, to the point where there was a temporary restraining order uh, granted by the judge in this particular case, who is a specially appointed judge, because the first judge, and it has been a shit show, this entire trial. So the first judge put a basically put a public gag order. He was not going to release the probable cause affidavit. He was not going to release anything, and that led to a flurry of, media conglomerates and other, local media saying, filing motion upon motion that they were allowed to have this, that, there are certain public, interest components to having this information, to the point where crazy yahoos on the internet, because it would be the internet, were, you know, oh gosh, what were they doing? They were being all the shenanigans, calling his looking up his number, calling his wife, doing all the ridiculousness that you just don't need to be doing, to the point where he feared for his safety and he recused himself from the case. So, there is a whole lot to dig into, and I hope that this particular video has given you maybe a better idea of what's kind of going on as we wait, just to I where I want my channel to be a place where we can have fun, but sift through the kind of hype of all of the kind of narrative around things, and just look at the actual brass tacks and what can be admitted into court, because I think the Michael Turney case is indicative of, while someone may be indicted and found guilty in the court of public opinion, the very different standards we have, thank God, for actual prosecution and, um, you know, guilt in this country. I mean, I feel like it's getting taken away bit by bit, but hopefully, if I can use my very small channel, I can bring attention to, you know, at least keeping people honest, at least, giving you guys the facts, not trying to church it up. I wish I could make it much more interesting. That's why I make little voices or I do different things, but let's look at the facts. I like the facts. I like seeing how all these cases come together. So if you are here with me on this ride, join, like, subscribe. My face will be back on camera for the next video, but I wanted to get this one going and in so you guys could have something on a Friday morning, and have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.